So next up in topic 1, we're going to talk a little bit about operations management. We're only going to go over a brief history of it in regards to supply chain. So when we're looking at it, we're advancing operations practice with the supply chain. So because of the consumer society and we're scaling our economies larger and larger and larger, and then we had the scientific method, and then we had the computer revolution, and then of course we had Lean Six Sigma, and then the service economy. So all these steps are taking us further and further where we have to perfect our operations. Because if we don't perfect our operations, that's going to become that corporate millstone, which is going to weigh us down and grind us down. So to sustain our operations, we need to get in and obtain the disposable income that is becoming more and more prevalent in the world. So in this chart here, you can see in 1970, there was only one country that had an average gross domestic product per capita greater than $10,000. But in 2005, it was 62 countries. That's a huge increase. And when you look at the actual world gross domestic product per capita in the United States dollars, we had 801, which then increased all the way to 7,236. That's about a tenfold increase, just shy of tenfold. So as you see, disposable income is increasing. So where are people going to spend their money? So people are looking on where they're going to spend this money. Most people don't save. That's just a fact. So they're going to go out and buy things. So with all this, global sales is increasing. We can see from 1990, and if you look all the lines on this chart here, they're all trending upwards, some more than others. But you see at the bottom here, this is for the United States companies. We're exporting goods and services more and more each year. So by 2015, which is the last data point on this, we've had about a 5-fold increase in each of those exports of goods and exports of services. However, if you look at the sales, going from $2 million on total global sales all the way up to $8 million. Now that's a 400% increase. Pretty significant. All from going global. One way that companies go global is by using e-commerce. When you look at e-commerce platforms such as Amazon, Amazon's the biggest name out there. There's also Taobao, Alibaba, and several others out there. If you're a small company and you want to get a product out there, if you can get it listed on there, you have now reached millions, if not billions of people on this planet. And as long as you can slap a shipping label on a box, you can send your products to anywhere in the world. So imagine a small company that produces a product and you're only selling locally, and now you have this opportunity to list your product on Amazon, and you put your product on Amazon, and now you're sending your product to California, Washington State, Texas, Florida. You sent it to your neighbor even though you didn't know that your neighbor ordered it. You know, all these people may not have even have heard of your company or your product, but now they do because you went and put yourself on an e-commerce platform. So that's why e-commerce sales, as depicted on this graph, has increased almost 10 times over 15 years. So the year-over-year growth, as you can see, does have a rocky history here, but it's year-over-year growth. It's never gone negative. Now, if I was in the stock market and I had year-over-year growth of this, I'd be a happy camper. But if you look at total retail sales, it's going up steady. So if you think back to disposable income, so people are spending their money at retail. So if we look at all this, what is this telling you? If you think back to our inputs, operations, and outputs, we have to, as a company, take our product, perfect our operations so we can get our product out to the customer. So you can take what we're doing plus our product, figuring out how do we get that to the customer. So that operation, figuring out how to get it to the customer and actually doing it, and then sending it out as their output to get that happy customer. Because if the customer's happy, they're going to tell their friends, right? And if they tell their friends, that might be another customer for you. But if you make them not happy, they're going to tell everybody under the sun. And you might lose some potential customers because their friends might tell friends. So, if you think of operations, it's evolved over the years, and it's still evolving. There's still plenty of areas that it can still grow. You may be the next one to know or figure out how to improve operations. So as we progress through this topic, think about ways that you can improve an operation that you know of. It could be something simple as, how you make breakfast in the morning. Or it could be something as complicated as the United States tax code. Do we go flat tax, or do we go to a graduated tax system, or do we just say no taxes? How do we make it happen? And I'll leave you with that.